Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim Paola and Johnny C. live on Real Radio.
It's Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. We got you for the next 2 hours of infotainment, and thanks very much for being there. 92.1, 101.7 in the old terrestrial radio. Appreciate you dialing in. And of course, if you have a free download, your iHeartRadio app, boom, you pick your device, and we are worldwide, whatever corner you're choosing to tune in from of the world today. Thank you very much for including us on your Saturday. And we should be live streaming as well. There's two sources. Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. You can find Florida Talk Real Estate on YouTube as well. That's Florida Talk Real Estate LLC, home of a ton of informational chunk videos, plus our live stream on a Saturday. Check it out if you're interested. Of course, you can always go back, revisit as well. Thanks for being there. Of course, you can be a part of the program toll-free at 877-927-6969. If you dial it in, the first voice you hear, there he is. The melodious tones will be from our producer extraordinaire, Jimothy, my brother from another mother. What up, dude?
Hello, and good morning. Happy Saturday, everyone.
And good to see you as always, my friend. Happy Saturday to you. Johnny C is me, your old buddy, your old pal. Here's your starting lineup. They're very important people on a Saturday. Like Ross Komarinetz. He's with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Ross, how are you, dude?
Good, all right. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Been a while.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever. Isn't it weird when you get so used to seeing somebody on the regular? If you don't see them for a couple weeks, you're like, has it been 4 months?
Yeah, it does. It does feel like
it's been a couple weeks, but it's nice to see you, Ross.
Yeah, it's good to be seen.
Always a pleasure to have you in studio. But we get to typically see our fearless leader. We lean on him almost every Saturday. 13 plus years now, I've told you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team, the Florida Home Pros at Keller Williams Innovations. What's up, Jimmy D? Jim DePola, how you be?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Happy South Florida, everybody. Man, was it stormy yesterday or what? Did you notice that?
Past couple of days.
Yeah,
feels like all week.
And I thought that I heard that after Tuesday, like Wednesday was going to be so clear and perfect, and it was going to get better during the week.
I think we may get more of that today, maybe a little bit tomorrow too.
We're and I heard Imelda turned into a hurricane or something now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That's what I saw a headline. I don't know if it was clickbait or not.
I don't know.
I thought it was gone already. Imelda.
Yeah, it may be gone already, but it still could have turned into a hurricane.
Yeah, that's true. It could be like somewhere out in the middle of nowhere, Nova Scotia, hurricane time.
Yes.
Yep. So,
but yeah, depending on where you were, you might have looked out your window yesterday and been like, "It's a monsoon. It's total whiteout. It's happening now."
The sky was even a weird color yesterday and everything too.
Depending on where you were, for sure.
Yeah, it was very weird. So I did a lot of driving yesterday. I drove like 170 miles or something.
Oh, so you experienced like all 4 seasons yesterday.
Oh, yes, I did. I did too. Yeah. Yes. So I was in Jupiter, West Palm, Boynton, Lake Okeechobee, and then back to Jupiter again.
Sweet.
Yes, it was like did a whole thing.
Ah, nice. Yeah, it's looking good this time of year.
Yeah.
Make the tour.
Yeah, exactly. So
sounds like you're busy. That's a good thing.
Yeah. I'm staying very busy. Thank you, Todd. We're going to be putting a house. The Lake Okeechobee property I have to do some more research on it, but it's a string of like 8 or 10 motel rooms, and it looks just like it's lined up just like the Bates Motel.
Nice.
Like the unit after unit after unit, but single story, and there's only like 10 of them, and it has the little overhead walkway, to get to all the properties.
Huh.
And then it's got a restaurant that was a very popular restaurant a long, long time ago. And man, when you walked in, it's like a time capsule from the 1950s over there. But they have all this Pecky cypress wood everywhere. And I can tell by the look of both of your faces, you have no idea, and Jimmy too, that Pecky cypress wood is super, super valuable and very desired for renovations and things like that. People will go into the Palm Beach mansions that are being torn down and stuff, and yank that stuff out. It's so valuable.
Huh.
It's a cypress type of wood.
It just hard to get, or
It's hard to get. I don't want to say it's extinct, because basically it's just cypress wood, and then that worms have gotten into it and eaten it, and it has all these crevices and stuff in the grains.
the pecky
That's
cypress
why they
wood
call it the pecky part.
is the
like-
cypress wood.
Yeah, so it's the pecky part is the worm stuff, and then cypress wood. You've seen it a lot.
Surprised Jimothy doesn't know. He's a big fan of the wood.
Yeah. Big fan.
Yeah.
Huge.
I'm really stunned that he has that like kind of similar stare I do.
So we're gonna be selling that property. It's multi-acres. It also is on the back of a waterfront that will get you right out to the lake. It's got a channel right there. You'd have to dredge the canal a little bit, but it isn't that long. So you can even have lake access to Lake O directly from there.
Nice.
It's literally probably a football field and a half from the lake, this property. And the property was inherited, and now they're trying to figure out, who will buy it. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see who's going to buy that, because we're looking at a potential church that might want to buy the property. Then there's a couple of people that bought property all around that property. So I'm going to start reaching out to them and see if they want to grab
Right.
it all.
Be like, hey, would you rather that be a church? Or?
Yeah, exactly. or
It's up to you.
And also it might be somebody's dream. It's like I always wanted to have like a little
Bates
hotel, Bates Motel thing.
Yeah.
And
Holiday Inn.
yeah, Holiday Inn, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see who will buy that. And speaking of which, that gets me to that property we talked about last week. Do you remember I mentioned that we had a 4-bedroom, 2-bath West Palm Beach home for, I think we had it $379,900.
Yes.
And there were only like 80 homes in all of Palm Beach County that were priced. It doesn't even matter the bedrooms, that were priced between $350 and $400
Mhm.
in the whole county. And like 60 of them were like way West County, like Belle Glade, Pahokee, that kind of thing. So anyway, I said, who's going to buy the property? Is it going to be an investor who's coming in, because that's a low price for 4 bedrooms, single family home? Is it going to be an investor come in, or is it going to be a savvy home buyer that would come in and buy the house low and then fix it up over time and have extra equity because they did that? Or is an investor going to come in and buy it? So my question is, who bought Vic's house? Because it went under contract this week. So thank you, Victor, for allowing us to sell the property for him. So do you think it was an investor that bought it, or a first-time home buyer, or a home buyer person that just wants to buy there and live there?
I'll say home buyer.
Yeah,
Moved in
first,
there.
home buyer.
Yeah.
first time home buyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. I guess that wasn't so exciting.
I was going to say investor.
Yeah,
You're gonna say
no,
investor,
well, you know
Yeah.
what?
I mean, everybody else was saying home buyer.
Yeah, so you have to go the other
Yeah.
way, right?
Well,
Yep.
and Jim could have built up the tension and got your gas, and we could have hung you out there on the plank for a minute.
I was waiting for him to say that he bought it.
I bought it.
Yeah, I bought it.
It's both.
I bought it. Yeah,
The answer is both.
exactly. So congratulations to Vic. He came to me a year ago, September, and said, I want to sell my house in the next 60 days. We didn't put it on the market until last Thursday, a week ago Thursday.
Well, so
We sold it.
tough
We
ask.
sold it in 8 days. So we sold it in 8 days.
Nice.
But once we got it on the market, it took us 13 months to get there. But when we did it, it only took 8 days.
Nice.
So anyway, congratulations, Vic. He's really happy. He's moving up north.
Good.
Uh,
Congratulations.
you
is
to be
right.
with loved ones up there. So I'm really
And
happy
congrats
for
to
him.
the buyer too. That's
Yep,
awesome.
very happy. They're a young family. They live in that area, so work is nearby. This kid's schools are nearby. They were looking to buy a larger home because the kids are growing. And here's another cool thing. This is just like, I love when things work out really nicely. As we were negotiating that offer, we got another offer that came in right at the same time. And we were pretty far deep into negotiating the first one. So I had to call Victor and say, hey, you have another offer. And actually, this offer is a tiny bit better than the offer you have now. How do you want to handle it? And what his options would have been when that happens is you could either go back to both of them and say, we're in a multiple offer situation, bring your highest and best. He could decide he wants to negotiate with just one of them and see if they can strike a deal with one. And if he doesn't, he can go back to the other one.
Sure.
Or he could just accept one of the offers without any negotiation.
So like a plan B would be like putting them in like a backup role in a way, right?
Yes.
Putting that other offer in a backup role, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So Victor decided that he was going to stick with the first offer because he saw the family when he was there. They showed the property. He happened to be at the house. Really got a good feeling about it. And even though that the new people are offering are asking for a seller concession money back at closing, he's still stuck with that person and didn't ask to go up in price.
Well, that's amazing.
So it was really nice that he did it that way. And he goes, I want to leave on a good note. I really had a good time in this house. I want somebody to enjoy it as much as I did. So what ended up happening was I called the first family and I said, look, we do have another offer. You really should thank the seller because he's not asking to do a counter or ask for highest and best. He's willing to give you the property, but he just wants you to know that you're asking for seller concession. So during the inspection, unless something really major pops up, we're not expecting you to ask for anything, right? And that gave him a little peace of mind.
Yeah.
So they said, we're good. They're going to do the inspection, of course, but we're good. And anyway, really happy story, win-win so far. I feel bad for the other family, but they can go into backup if they want to. They haven't said yes yet. Big mistake.
Sure.
Always going back.
go
If
into
you like
backup.
the house, going back up.
Just
If
go
you
into
really love the house, just going to back up. Things happen in life. If it's meant to be, you're going to get it.
Because in that backup role, you're not obligated, right? I mean, you still have all the outs that are laid out for you. I mean, there's
the way I normally do. We don't even collect escrow, right? So it's an offer. We'll sign the offer and agree. Then we put in a term. Escrow will be collected. If it goes into first position, right?
Right.
And so really you're just signing paper saying, hey, if the house comes back up,
if something happens,
we've already agreed to what we're going to do and I'm buying it.
Yeah.
And they have a right to go out and go look for other properties. They're not locked and can't find. So if they find something else, they just send us a note. Hey, we found another property.
Go ahead and
Sorry,
take
we're
us
out.
off of there. Thanks.
Yeah. And that's the way it is. So
yeah, they definitely should have done that.
yeah, so pretty good. I want to say hello to everybody, but my eyesight's really bad today, so just gonna say hello to everybody. I don't
Those
wanna,
glasses you're holding.
and they're not. They're. I'm having a bad time today.
Oh no! What are
So,
those?
I
Those
know,
fake?
I
Are those
know,
the fake ones?
I know. It's too much
Did you
today.
get the fake ones?
It's too much. I need real glasses now. There's no doubt.
Oh,
I'm going to
you
a
get them
doctor,
off
doctor.
You get them off the rocket.
Oh yeah, I have them. I have 15 of these. I got 3 in my bag.
So those are just strictly magnified readers.
And they're all different ones too. Some are 1, some are 1.25, some are 1.5, and they're all in my bag. So I have no idea which is which.
Can I see? Can I see what that does?
Yeah, I don't know what this one is.
I'm curious. Because I have
I call
actual
myself.
prescription.
Yeah, I'm Dr. DePola. I'm the eye doctor.
Oh, that's not.
Are they bad?
You're not too far off of me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you? Are you
I don't know.
Are you what is it when you have a lower number? It's better eyesight.
I couldn't tell you what my number is.
Oh, you don't know your number.
Mine isn't. My script isn't that bad.
Right.
I've gradually over the last handful of years required a little bit more every year, just a little bit. You're not too far gone.
Yeah. Well, that's these might be the ones, and I'm using 1.5s too and stuff. So maybe that's why I'm not seeing so good
there
right
it is.
now.
Maybe you might be worse than I think you are.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. So anyway, shout out to them and shout out to also Diane. Diane just sold her house last week. We closed last week. It was a small condo up in Stewart.
Nice.
Thank you, Mike, which is her brother. Mike asked me to sell their mom's home, Diane and Mike's home. And then we helped sell Mike's daughter's home. And now we help Diane. And now Diane's in Missouri. So she's probably not listening to this right now, but I hope you enjoy Missouri. Sounds like she's having a blast up there.
Great.
Was really, really happy about that. Got in a really big fight with the Keller Williams agent on that property because the agent was the mom representing the son. She was demanding that my seller fix things that the community is supposed to fix. We went through the inspection and explained that's a community thing, not a homeowner thing. We'll ask the community to fix it. So the community agreed to fix the things that were wrong. And it was, important stuff. There was a cracked tile in a brand new roof. They just put roofs on these buildings, but there was a cracked tile. Some of the paver bricks were uplifting in the driveway. All outside stuff the community has to deal with. So she was threatening not to close until the seller took care of that stuff. And we were like, no, you can't do that because it's a community thing. We wrote it in the agreement when we went through the inspection that this is a community thing and that she would ask. And we did ask for the stuff to be done. And so they fixed the roof, but they didn't do the paver bricks because the paver bricks were going to be done the day after we closed.
So it's going to happen. It just hasn't happened
And
yet.
they hired the contractor and everything.
Right.
So the agent was like, well, how do I know they're going to do the job? I'm like, they did the roof. Why aren't they going to do the paver bricks? They gave you the contract. They have the contractor's name. Call them up. They even know what date they're coming out. What do you want from us?
Right. Right.
So anyway, it got in a pretty big fight, but we won, and it's over.
Over nonsense.
So, yeah, it was. The people is so crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. But congratulations to Diane. She called me like 2 days later. She goes, "Are we done? I'm like, "We're done.
Like done.
Right?
Done
We're
done.
done. It's done." So anyway, really happy for them. We've got a lot
congratulations on being done.
Yeah, exactly. Got a lot of good stuff to talk about today. I thought was kind of interesting. A lot of interesting stuff. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is Consumer Reports came out with their top 30 best and worst insurance companies, home insurance companies in the country. Right. And Florida's in there. So we're going to go talk a little bit about that later.
When you say Florida, like Florida companies?
Yeah, companies that insure Florida. That's all I'm going to say right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then
I would imagine there's a bunch of them.
Yeah, well, what they did is they looked at, we'll get into this later, but they looked at like 28,000 claims with 28 companies and 24,000 people with 27,000 claims or something. And they looked across the United States, and one of this insurance companies is crazy good. They create not necessarily in Florida, but one of these insurance companies like, why can't they do that everywhere? I'm going to tell you about it in a little bit.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. We're also going to talk about are you an accidental landlord? The New York Times just came out with an article saying across the country, people are now accidental landlords because they tried to sell their property. They couldn't sell it. They don't want to live there anymore. So now they became accidental landlords where they're renting it out. I had one of those about a year ago.
Can't sell it is an interesting thing to me.
It is. What that means is can't sell for the price that you want.
Yeah, that's what that means. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what it means right now.
That number I have to have.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, most people that become, I thought it would be interesting to talk about accidental landlords. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Pros and cons of that and what could happen and good and the bad. Also, we're going to talk about, hold on here 1 second.
I can tell you Florida Talk Real Estate is .com, your one-stop real estate shop. When you need a team of pros, always remember FloridaTalkRealEstate.com on Facebook and YouTube. Consume away and hit share a bunch too. You never know. You can change lives, including your very own, with the pros at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Hey, Nate Servideo is on Facebook, and he asked me, he was one of the people that said that they would contribute to that computer for those kids for the Knights of Pythagoras Mentoring Network. We're trying to raise money for a computer for them. They've been doing a podcast now for like 5 years. They're using StreamYard, which is the same system we use for our setup, but their computer is so slow it's not working. And these kids are dedicated. They've been doing this for 5 years, on time, all the time. Radio is live. Anything is always a tough thing to do because you got it. Johnny knows best at anybody, and Jimmy. But you got to be here all the time. It's live. Live doesn't wait for you. You got to be here on time.
Yeah,
even when the key's locked out, even when you get locked out of the building, like today, we had
live requires live.
Yeah, yes. And consistency and dedication. And these kids got it. So we're trying to raise enough money to get a computer. We're looking for a $1,500 MacBook Pro that's 15 inches because the larger screen might be better for the kids. And we'd like to get a new one for the warranty so that the kids have a warranty because this product would be very expensive for the group.
Sure.
Next week, we're going to have a not a GoFundMe page. It's going to be a PayPal website from the group. And then that way you could check the whole group out. You'll go directly to their website. You can see all the things they do. You'll be amazed at what they accomplish.
Good.
And then if you like
beautiful.
it, the link will be there and hopefully you'll sign up. I will match up to $750. So if somebody comes in, once we raise 750, I'm going to match it dollar for dollar up
You're
to
amazing.
750 so that we can try to get this done for them. So anyone who wants to help, please reach out. And thank you, Nate. He's been dedicated because we talked about this for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Hasn't
And
happened
finally,
yet.
sounds like next week. We're
So next
finally
week
going to
it's
give you the
going to
chance.
happen. Yeah. So just hold tight for us. And thank you, everybody,
Thank you very much.
for any support that you're going to do. Let's talk about right now for this segment. Let's go ahead and talk about Florida. October 1st, they passed all these new laws. October 1st is usually the time. Either it's usually October 1st or July 1st. Maybe January 1st. Do you think they do it January 1st too?
With
But
the
new
laws
laws-
set
I
in.
don't know. I remember
Yeah.
like July's always a big time.
July's
like,
a big
what goes
time,
into
too.
effect now?
Yeah. So this one in October, they had 30 new laws that came into effect in Florida. Most of them were related to I'm going to just read the headlines because it's, unless you guys want to talk about it, it's not really real estate, but a couple of them are. Fleeing police. What happens when you flee the police? They raise the penalties.
Dang it.
Motor crimes. They're making several changes to the statutes for motor vehicle offenses.
Isn't it amazing how things change as we age? Like
Yeah.
running from the cops was a pastime when I was a teenager.
Right.
Like that's what we did on the weekends. We ran from the cops.
I did that too. Yeah.
This is what we did.
So yeah, we did that. Yep.
And you're
Now that
like,
we're
don't
old-
you have any real crime to deal with?
Now that we're older, we're running to them.
When I was in high school one time, we went to Sistrunk Avenue in Fort Lauderdale, which was a really rough neighborhood back then. And we were talking. There was a bunch of wrestlers in a van, right? And we were
Like real wrestlers, brother.
no, like high school wrestlers,
Oh,
right?
gotcha.
Right, high school.
I thought Macho
Wearing the
Man
tights
was
and the
there.
wrestling
Oh, look at
shoes.
these guys over here. I'm gonna tell you what, these guys.
So we were talking to some of the ne'er-do-wells on the street, and a pimp didn't like it, and it had
A real pimp, though.
a
not
real no,
some
a real
fake wrestlers.
no. This
real
was
pimp.
a purple car, and it even had the little ball things. The like on the liner of the car, the roof liner with the little fuzzy
Nice.
balls hanging all over them. As an accent.
Yeah.
And they got mad at us, and they were chasing us all over Fort Lauderdale. We were going so fast, and we were just hoping a cop would catch us. Nobody was around. We kept running away from the cops. So yeah, we used to do that
And
too.
you know how they're a real pimp? They have platform shoes with goldfish in them.
hmm
That's how you know they're
Yeah.
a real pimp.
I'm a big
Ro-
fan of the fuzzy ball, too, by the way.
Yeah,
Oh, fuzzy balls. Yeah.
Ross
so-
got those platform shoes.
I do. I don't wear them out too
Not
often.
often.
though.
We
No.
gave up pimping years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, It's kind of in the back of the closet.
Mhm. Got
Well-
tired of running from the cops.
Yeah, with my fur coat.
Exactly. It's a little hot.
Part of the fleeing and eluding stuff is you can't obscure your license plate anymore to not get picked up.
That's the thing.
You mean
Any-
you could?
Yeah,
What the-
I always
know.
thought we couldn't do that.
I know, but now they have no. Well,
Every-
it's the technology. You're not allowed to put the technology that stops it.
Every once in a while, I get pulled over because of my bike rack on the back of the car.
Oh, because you can't see the license plate.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
your tires, it hangs too low. Is that?
Well, no, the bike rack, I guess, in its upright, not used position, does kind of block the
I
license
see.
plate a little
Yes,
bit.
Yes.
And then,
And they'll
Yeah.
pull you over just for that.
Yeah.
No kidding, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I get it. Can't see the license plate.
yeah.
What's the workaround on that though? You're like, it's a
I-
bike rack.
Yeah. Well, can you put it on the outside of the bike rack? And I said, okay. But then if I put the bikes on it, now that license plate is facing the ground and my bikes are on there and you can't see my license plate.
So yes. Yeah. Huh.
Oh my gosh. It sounds so. Did they give you a ticket? I'm
No.
curious. They just
No.
gave you a warning and said,
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
You're like, all right.
But,
till
but
next
what
time,
do you do?
till next time, I
Because,
guess.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
now you have to, it's constantly there. I
Right.
mean, how do you fix it?
Gotta
Other
get-
than taking a rack off?
Gotta
You know,
get the bike
it's
rack.
mostly when I leave my little bubble. That's when,
If you don't leave the bubble,
if
then
I don't leave the
you're
bubble,
good.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
But if I leave the bubble, then
there's a lesson there. Stay in your bubble.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't do that, or I have a gigantic bubble. That's what
Yeah,
I
it's all right.
really-
Have a big
I'm
bubble.
everywhere.
That's
I'm
fine.
driving all over.
Bubbles
Hey,
come in different sizes.
The real estate laws that were affected, there were 30 laws that were passed that went into effect October 1st. The one that most affects real estate or for landlords. Okay, so if you're a landlord, and you're in a flood zone, you have to let the tenants know before they sign the lease that they're in a flood zone. Okay, I guess that's for tenants to make sure that they get extra insurance or something like that, I'm guessing. But it's a requirement now that landlords must disclose that they're in flood zones. But
So like every rental agreement should now include, hey, you're in a flood zone, just FYI.
yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. Whether that really will happen or not, we don't know, because there's some, most of the rental properties are not on the MLS. Most houses for sale are, but rentals, there's a big rental market out there that is not connected to the MLS. People just go online and do their own thing and stuff. And let me see what was else. And then they had some land regulation changes for developers that they have to tell you exactly what they're going to be developing before you grant a zoning change for them. So that's a little, yeah.
It's like, oh, that feels like we should have that.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with this, by the way?
Yeah, sure, we'll change it. He's like, what are you building there? So anyway, that's what's going on with all that stuff on the laws. Now, just want to remind people that there was also something that happened October 1st, which is the foreclosure forbearance for COVID. It ended. And I think the hurricane stuff has ended too. I think that if it hasn't already ended for most people, I think that ended too. But this for sure, COVID, it ended October 1st.
Man, that was a long forbearance.
It was 5 years.
Well, that's amazing.
And
great if you
so
needed
nobody,
it. Man, is that great?
Right, but nobody should be complaining that they're being kicked off this program because you had it, or you had the ability to have it for 5 years.
Right.
So how long?
The ability to get out of it, though, that off ramp is rough. I understand the off ramp, the exit ramp from those forbearances is brutal because it requires a big balloon payment.
So if you are one of those people that just got a list pendants, it's called a list pendants, or a notice to accelerate your mortgage, which is like right before the list pendants. Your mortgage means make you pay it way in advance, like calling the note due right now for violating the contract. If you have something like that and you don't have any resources and you don't know who to turn to, you got to give us a call.
Yeah.
Because we're going to get you the right advice. I can't tell you what the result's going to be because every case is going to be different.
Like a snowflake.
Some people might be able to save the house. Some people might not be able to save the house. Me and AJ from experiencedappraisers.com, we went to that event that Natalie had.
Oh, good.
For the Legal Aid Society, Office Economic Development, and a couple other agencies. And there was a lady there that she has an inherited property, and she believes that the house is going into foreclosure, but she doesn't control the rights to the property yet because they haven't handled the transfer of the property correctly before the person died.
Oh boy.
So now they're in a foreclosure crisis, and they don't have all the tools they need in order to contact the bank because the bank can't recognize them yet because they're not the owner.
Oh, that's so messy.
So it's very screwed up,
Yeah.
and you could lose your house over that. And I explained,
inherit a home that's been foreclosed on and already taken back. I mean, what is that?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
And then on top of it, though, is that she doesn't realize, and I had to explain this to her after the meeting, that she probably has a lot of equity in the home. She probably has about more than $100,000 of equity in a home. Equity means if you just sell the house right now and you pay off all the costs, including the mortgage and paying back the mortgage, you would have a profit equity. And in this case, it was more than $100,000. And I said to him, look, if you don't deal with this foreclosure fast, they're going to eat up a lot of that money, right? You'll still get a check at the end of the day. If they take the house back and sell it, there'll be money left over and it's supposed to be given to you. But do you really want the bank to take the money and then give it back to you?
Right.
As opposed to you taking control and getting the money yourself. So, she isn't sure. I think she's going to end up wanting to sell the property, which would probably be a smart thing for her because it's an inherited property and she'll just collect the profits for the family. But right now, she's fighting the bank of where those profits are going to go. How much of those profits are going to go to her family, or how much is it going to go to penalties and what I call garbage fees,
which are just stacking as she's even waiting to be able to try to get some control of the situation.
Right, and I always say the clock is ticking, tick,
Yep.
tick, 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 tick. right? When you're in that situation.
Gosh.
So, but the event was really good. I think over 20 people showed up to it. It was pouring out. So the fact that people even showed up, there was a lot of need out there for people who don't understand how to transfer property to family members without getting in trouble so that the title isn't damaged.
Right.
And there was a lot of great advice. The guy's name, I think, was Blake from Legal Aid Society, gave a really lot of great advice, free advice. He also gave us a map that if you're in a certain area of Palm Beach County, you have all these extra free legal services that are available to you, like doing ladybird deeds, right? Or transferring deeds instead of doing it yourself at the kitchen table. You can go to the Legal Aid Society if you live in one of these areas, and they will walk you through the process to make sure you do it so it'll be taken correctly later when you need it for the title company.
Where can you see that map?
It's on the Legal Aid Society, and it might be on the Office of Economic Development. I'm going to be doing more research. We're going to start bringing some of these people in here because there's a lot of great free services that people could use that would be good to have people know. So we're going to bring them in here, and we're going to have individual interviews with all these people so that you can kind of get a taste of what that meeting was like without being there.
Super cool.
So thank you, Natalie. Natalie Medina. She owns Pangea Multi Services, which is she basically helps people walk through where English is not their first language, basically, to walk them through if they have any government forms they need to fill out or things like title. She isn't going to do the title work or anything, but she's going to make sure that they get to the right people and they understand the documents they're signing. So she works as an interpreter, make sure that the paperwork's filled out correctly.
I got a great business idea for her coming
What's that?
too. She could be translation services for the halftime show for the Super Bowl. Sit there next to him, tell you what Bad Bunny's saying. You know,
That's true, right?
Yeah,
That's so true.
It'd be fantastic.
So, anyway, if you're in trouble with your mortgage, you got to give us a call. I know that a lot of people don't know that that's how we cut our teeth on this show.
Big time.
All we did was help people that were in trouble with mortgages, and we helped and helped and helped. And Johnny was one of the first people to say when we started the show, hey, if I get any feedback from my listeners that you guys are not doing the right thing, I'm out of here.
Oh, totally.
So
you're like quoting me almost.
Yeah, exactly. And he was, I didn't bang on the table like you did, like you said it to emphasize.
I was like, I am not going to be attached to some scam artist.
So 13 years later, we sucked you in.
Yeah, got me all part of the scam.
Got it. It's like, hey, the scam isn't so bad. So seriously, though, if you need help, we don't want to make fun of it because we know that a lot of people are getting sleepless nights when they're in that kind of trouble.
Not making fun at all.
So if you need help, we're one phone call away.
Beautiful thing. And I love that we're going to have all this extra access to really important information. And when you need it for free, like we all want to get things for free, and then there's a need for free. That need for free is a totally different place. And when you need expertise and you can't squeeze a penny out of nothing, this is super valuable. But I will tell you what, knowledge is power in every way, and that's why FloridaTalkRealEstate.com has become such a valuable access to so many of the people that have been there before. It's remarkable to have a team of pros when you're buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. You really need to have people that are great at what they do, and not just good, great at what they do. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com and you'll have just that. On Facebook, on YouTube, write it down, share, do what you can. You can change lives, including your very own, with the pros of FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. We're back in 4 minutes. Thanks for being with us every Saturday. Florida Talk Real Estate right here on Real Radio.
The bad news, the brain isn't all that great at hearing stuff and remembering it. The good news, you can watch us too. Like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Real Radio 92.1. Here's what's happening with the weather on Real Radio.
I'm CBS 12 meteorologist Charlotte Carl. We are going to be monitoring some showers and storms throughout the remainder of your Saturday. Temperatures will get into the middle 80s, so a degree or two below where we normally expect temperatures to be this time of year, thanks to all of the cloud cover associated with the showers and storms making their way through.
This report is sponsored by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yeah, you can do it. Dial on in if you'd like. 877-927-6969. You are more than welcome always with your questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate. If you'd like to get involved in the conversation at hand, or if you got a question for the pros, just dial on in there. Jimothy, our producer extraordinary, he'll get you going. At least I believe he will.
Yeah, why not? We'll do it today.
Excellent.
Maybe not next week, but this week, yeah.
Well, today's a good day to do it then, because there's no guarantees for next week. What's today? Today is the 4th of October.
Sure is.
Man, oh man. When we hit into October, I was like, it's damn October already. Now it's the 4th of October, just like that.
They were just raising the Stanley Cup about 3 minutes ago, and now they're going to start a new season.
Seriously, just
how about that, huh?
Yeah. Thank you for being with us every Saturday. Johnny C., that's me. Ross Komarinetz represents the very important people. He does it well, too. Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Hello, Ross.
Hello. Be here
How's that feel to have to be the face of the very important people?
at Brightway Insurance in Juno Beach.
Yes.
I mean, comes with the title or the job,
It's
you know.
a responsibility you're willing to take on.
Yeah, I like it better when we didn't have the camera.
I get it.
Then I could just be the voice.
Yeah, the voice of. Yeah, I don't know if we're ever going back to that.
It's all video these days.
I feel like that ship has sailed. Yeah. You know what's weird about video? Can't even trust that anymore.
Right? Yeah.
I'm to the point now where I'm like, I doubt whether it's. I go into it thinking it's not real, and then I'm like, oh, that might be real actually. And literally every video I watch, I'm like, that's not real. I'm watching a replay from last weekend's games. I'm like, that's not real. Oh, wait a minute. This is real. That's not real. Oh, wait a minute.
Well, it may be real. It could still be scripted.
That's true. Very true. I watch wrestling.
Well, I mean, last week's games, too.
Oh, you on that conspiracy train, are you? Look at this play right here. This will prove that the NFL's rigged.
That's right.
Shut up. Great to see you as always, Ross. And of course, Jimmy D's over here, Jim Paola. He's with the Florida Home Pros team, Keller Williams Innovations. 13 plus years now, he's been running a top producing team. If you want one, that's where you can find one. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, I'm doing okay. I almost had a little panic attack while you were talking because I couldn't remember my login to get all my notes for the show. That would
What's
have
my
been a bad
password?
day.
What is my password?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right, big boy.
Oh my God. I don't know about you guys, but I've got like 400 passwords for different things. It's like
And
crazy.
you don't have the systems remember it. I am lazy like that. I'm like, yes, Google, remember that, please. So if you ever get hacked, you get it all.
The problem is so many of them have to change all the time and everything. Because
and when you change it, it's like, you want us to change that?
That
You're
never
like, yes,
works for
please
me. It never pops up all the time for me. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. So I use it when it's asked, but I don't know how to like tell it to save it. You know, if it pops up, I use it, but if not, I hate technology. I really hate it.
When you update everything now, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jimmy.
The worst thing, so I do the same thing that you do, Johnny. Like most of my passwords are saved in there until you go and clear out your cache or your browser or something like that. And then all of a sudden, now I got to remember it.
Oh, no. What was it?
What was that?
Yeah, we do have a master. My wife is supremely organized, a master list of passwords. And it is stupid. It's like almost 3 pages. It's 2 pages front and back, and then a third one starting. It's insane.
I know, it's
how
crazy,
many
right?
damn passwords for how many damn things. And thankfully, she's so organized.
Yeah.
But wow,
You
how are you
gotta
supposed
have
to
that.
remember that?
Yeah,
Stuff?
gotta have that.
Can I marry her?
Yes, you can come
I
on
need that
into
right
the
now,
team.
yeah.
Come on. We always use another income.
So Mormon time. Okay, so wanted to go over. We've been talking about property taxes and how the state legislature and the governor have been trying to figure out how to reduce property taxes. There's been talk of completely eliminating them. Here's another proposal, right? We've been talking about all the proposals that came out. I don't remember what the last proposal was. Remember the guy from Miami?
What was the last one we
I
discussed?
can't remember what it was.
I'm trying to remember the specifics.
It was a
of it,
full cutout of property taxes, though.
Yeah, and it was raising of
Raising sales taxes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
There was some other caveat to it, but it just didn't feel like it was one that was really had a chance. At least,
Well,
I think all homeowners are like, this sounds great. Let's find a way. But
Yeah, I agree.
There's got to be a sweet spot where we land, right?
So this is, to me, is a more reasonable one. When I say reasonable, more likely to happen, because it's more about what happens in the future than what's happening right now. So right now, what most people don't know is your taxes, if you're homestead, there's a law in Florida called Save Our Homes. And Save Our Homes is a law that says if you have a homesteaded property, no matter how high your appraised value of your house becomes, the most that you can see an increase on your property taxes would be 3% a year cap. So just to make an example, let's say that you're paying $1,000 a year for taxes because your house is worth $200. And then the next year, your house is worth $400, like crazy, right? Doubles in 1 year, right? So now let's say your tax bill should normally be $2,000, right? I'm just saying, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, you can't go more than 3%. So that means you're going to pay $1,030, not $2,000, right? So there is a big savings there.
Sure.
Just
Max.
to use an example, right? It's a max. And the good thing is, if the values go down, when they go down, you can go down as low as it goes. So there's no floor, only a ceiling.
Right.
I love that.
But we don't root for that.
No, but we went
True.
through that in the crash,
Right.
and the people saw their property values. We see it right now. Well, Port St. Lucie. Let's talk about this. Port St. Lucie came out with or news was complaining last week that Port St. Lucie set their tax bill, and most people's tax bills were going up, even though they reduced the millage rate, which is the tax rate for the bill. And the reason why is because appreciation is more than the tax cut that they did.
So it cut into how much it was going up, basically.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that it was going down, it was how it was going up slower. But not that much slower.
Oof.
And people were really complaining. And I was like, last year was not a good year for St. Lucie County.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Right? They
why-
have the highest months on market out of all the counties right now, which is unheard of. I mean, you never hear that in Port St. Lucie or St. Lucie County. So I don't know how the property appraiser or whatever figured all that out, but they're figuring out that the values increased more than the tax rate cut that they got.
Huh.
Now, I think that would, to be fair, I think that was just the city of Port St. Lucie, not the whole county.
Gotcha.
Okay, that was the city.
Well, I would
of Port
think
St. Lucie.
just the opposite. If it was the whole county, there are certain areas that might have gone up, and then other areas that went down. So
Right, but Port St. Lucie sets their own mortgage tax rate.
right, versus the county.
Right.
Mhm.
So the county said that the property values went up, but the city was reducing the tax rate. But because the values went up, they're paying more. Bottom line is they're paying more for it.
Right.
So how this guy wants to reduce property tax bills for people is to change that 1.5%. This is pretty simple to do it, to change from 3% to 1.5%.
Finally.
Yeah.
How long have I said this every time we bring this up?
Yeah, just
Literally every time we bring this up. Like, if you want to just do it, you could just extend our homestead exemption. I mean, you could just like that.
The thing is, no matter how you do it, whether you reduce it there with the homestead, somewhere that money needs to be made back up. Right. I mean,
right. You have to
it's
make
not
up
like
the money,
or you have to,
or you cut back services.
Yeah, cut spending.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's right.
Now, I know one thing that they're doing that I just read recently, and this is kind of only to a small audience, but there's a separate area where you can go and take bulk items, right? And it's over by the one school. It's off across town. They're going to eliminate that service, and supposedly that's going to save the city of Port St. Lucie $2 million a year.
Wow.
Because not a lot of people were utilizing it. I loved it because it was, otherwise you only get one pickup a month for bulk items, right? So it gave you an opportunity to take it somewhere other than the dump. So, but that's going to go away because not a lot of people were using it. So, there's one place that they saved a bunch of money. So, and that's what they'd have to do.
But
because the money's got to come from somewhere, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not just
or you cut the spending, right? So either you cut the services or you got to replace the money with something else.
Yeah.
The problem I see with this bill,
unless, and I'm sorry to interject, but unless, and I know it's going to be county to county, it's going to vary. Some counties will massively have to figure out how they're going to make up. And I think some counties sit on a surplus. Like, I don't know.
There could be, yeah,
I don't know if they all spend all the tax dollars that come in. So I mean, it's not. It's just like, every situation the pros at Florida Talk Real Estate are going to deal with, all very unique. I think county to county, what their demand for income is going to vary pretty much massively, right? I mean, talk about Florida. What's the difference between like a county in the upper middle of the state,
right?
Like Palm Beach County or Broward or Dade for that matter.
Exactly. A lot more services, a lot more demand for services because we're metropolitan as opposed to being like where I just helped Brian sell a house or buy houses in Dunellen, outside of Ocala, right? That's very rural. Not a lot of services being offered from the government agencies. And it's not, it isn't thriving. It isn't like a thriving area like it is down here. There's a lot of growth and stuff like that. Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. But it's a different
Right.
viewpoint from where they're standing. Going, all right, this is what we got to make up.
Well, here's the problem I see with this 1.5% decrease. Right? It's a good. I mean, as long as they can afford it, great. This will help. But here's the problem. what they're trying to do is they want to make sure that when you get older, if you buy like what the biggest problem is that everybody's complaining about. Somebody in your family bought a house in the 1950s, right? They paid it off 30 years ago, right? And the house has been passed down from family member to family member, and there's still, because of that, the homestead changes over time, and they're still socked with these big tax increases for the values going up over all the years. So if you're sitting there now and that's what you're worried about is that you have this huge tax bill right now, all this is doing is protecting your tax bill from going up, in my example, from $1,030 a month in my example to $1,015 a month.
Right.
There's not really a lot of savings there, as opposed to we're cutting out all property taxes, which
Right.
is huge savings, right?
Right.
So I think actually will help control spending for legislators. Like it's going to bring in less money for them, and it'll hopefully curtail some of the spending that they're used to spending on. But I don't know if it's really going to make that much of an impact for people today. It's more about what happens in the future with that bill. Am I wrong? What do you guys think?
No, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
So
and every little bit they can do is great.
absolutely.
I love that they continue the conversation,
Mhm.
but yeah, the reality is that it's all gonna have to be replaced to a certain extent. If you're going into surplus, why are you holding all of this money that you don't need? Like I can understand the tug of war between different communities for sure. But yeah, this is I'm glad they continue the conversation because nobody wants to pay taxes that we feel like we don't have to. I think
Yeah,
in general,
exactly.
nobody wants to pay taxes at all. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
very true.
exactly.
Yeah.
Another
the ones we
argument.
have to and the ones we don't have to.
I don't want to pay any of them. Yeah. Can we not pay any of them?
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true.
But the conversation continues, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, hopefully, I might want to try to get. I'd really like to get the guy who came on, the politician who came up with the idea of eliminating it completely. Just to, I mean, no gotcha moments. This is not a gotcha show,
No.
but just ask him, like, just be open minded and just say, how are you going to try to replenish this money, and how does that work, and how do you even figure out all those numbers? Think about it. I mean, all these elected officials, I know that they have big staff and they can do stuff, but how do they know how to crunch all those numbers and figure it all out in order to come up with the plan and everything? I would like to learn all that. So it would be interesting to me to ask.
I think you start. You could. Does it feel like an okay approach to say, like, all right, if it's a homesteaded property, we'll eliminate property taxes, but if it's a investment property, they stay in place? Like, does that feel like a good jumping off right there to start with? Because I think if that feels like a good place to start, because wiping all property taxes away is such a huge hatchet shot.
Yeah.
But to take care of
for
the
sure.
homeowner, this is this is your home, this is where you live. And again, you're gonna pass it down to your family. If your family's gonna acquire it and turn it into a rental property or an
That's-
investment property,
That's different.
well, now you got to pay your property taxes on it, right?
Mhm.
It's an income property. That to me, that feels like where you could separate in the road, and then you can maybe work with things. To do it all, just if you own the home in general, I feel like that's just too big of a shot. Let's take care of the people that live in it. Again, you're going to be an elderly person that you can't afford it. You're going to pass it down to your generation. Here's your benefit. If you want to live in it, you're not going to pay property taxes on it. If you're going to rent it, sell it, you're gonna.
Maybe what they could do is we're bouncing ideas, right? What would happen if they had like a homestead exemption where at a certain period of time the tax bill is capped to services needed like fire, police, certain types of services, because if you have a house, you need a fire department to come in case your house burns down, right?
Yeah.
Somebody burglarized your house, you need a police officer to come to the house, right? So maybe that there's a cap, or maybe there's like you can claim an extra exemption for based on income. Hey, my tax bill is supposed to be $5,000 a year. I only make 30. I've had the house for 40 years. I can't afford a 5,000, I can't afford 1/6 of my income just to go to property taxes, right? And maybe they turn in an income report and they get an extra exemption. I'm just throwing out ideas. I
Yeah.
don't know. That would kind of protect. The way all this worked out was to protect people that owned a house for a very long time but no longer could afford the taxes. And the taxes is what's forcing
maybe
them
that
out.
maybe you just nailed it. Once you're in a home for 20 years, the property taxes fall off of it or something.
Yeah. Or,
Once you own it outright, the property taxes fall off of it. Like that feels like, and then you're like, well, that's a huge advantage to people that can buy it outright, use cash. Well, it is, but that's just, that happens to be the sweet spot in this scenario. If you get the biggest reward. And I guess that's kind of the American way, really take care of the deepest pockets. So that feels like that might be possible.
Hey, Jimmy, we got a call?
Yes, we do. Cedric's on the line. He has a situation that kind of put him in a predicament, and he wants some advice. Cedric, welcome to Florida Talk Real Estate.
Hello.
Hey, good morning, Cedric.
Hey, Cedric, congratulations for joining the Dolphins again. Is this Cedric Wilson Jr.?
No, not quite.
I'm joking. How you doing, Cedric? How can I help you today?
Okay. Remember about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I spoke to you about a deal where my neighbor was in the process of losing her house, and I wanted to take over the house and everything, and we wrote up a contract and everything.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that.
Okay. Well, the problem here is when we wrote up the contract, the lawyer forgot to do one little important thing, which is write down a time period of when she was supposed to exit. Because originally we had discussed her staying there for about 2 years until she finds a retirement home or assisted living facility.
Right.
But what ended up happening is during that time, she developed Alzheimer's. So her brother took over the estate, and then her daughter moved in. And so now we're pushing 4 years when she was supposed to have been out. She's still there, and the daughter is constantly making up excuses that they can't find a home for her yet.
Mm-hmm.
But meanwhile, I'm still paying the mortgage and all that other stuff and haven't been able to do anything with my investment.
Wow.
So essentially, she's living for free, except for paying her, utilities.
Okay, so I'm not an attorney. I'm not one on air. As the old guy Rob used to say, the old partner Rob used to say, I'm not an attorney. I'm not going to be one on air. But here's a couple of things I know a little bit about this stuff.
Ooh,
First
somebody
of all,
stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
yeah. What does that mean? I don't get it.
It's a commercial.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't get it. So if you don't have a time, leases can only be written for 1 year with a realtor, right? So you can't have a lease longer than 1 year in residential if you're using a realtor. Okay. I know you didn't. I know you went to an attorney, but the attorney didn't put a time period in. So that means that I think that would mean that contract is not really a contract because you have to have a time component in the contract. Like you can't do an as-is contract and write an as-is contract to buy a property if you don't have a time frame of when you're supposed to close and all that. You can't just leave it open-ended because it's not a real contract at that point. It's not a legal contract in Florida.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say to you is what I believe is the fallback is going to be that tenant is a month-to-month tenant. Now, month-to-month tenants have a little bit more, and I don't understand the nuances in this, but they have a little bit more rights than a lease tenant with a lease, believe it or not. But you can go through the eviction process and take the person out if you wanted to. If that was something that you wanted to do, you would have the right to do that, even if the lease isn't, quote, any good, because they're a month-to-month tenant right now. And the fact that they're not paying anything, I don't even know if they are. They would be considered a tenant because if they live there, even if they're not paying anything, that's considered their, and I'm not using the right term, but their homestead. And police can't kick somebody out of that house if they live there, right? Like if you came over and just said, I want them out, they're not paying rent. But you can do it through the eviction process and go through that process. Now, Cedric, if you're going to do that, don't do it by yourself. You got to hire an attorney to do the eviction process. the correct way, to make sure all the paperwork is filled out correctly, and that the timelines are done correctly, the notices needed is done correctly, so that you don't go through landlord hell trying to get the person out of the property.
Okay, but here's the problem, though.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, when we wrote the deal, the original owner, her name is still on the deed, as well as mine. So that's what the problem is. And she's, like I said, she's going through Alzheimer's. So her brother has a power of attorney, and he's not really willing to kick his sister out, which I don't blame him. But more or less, the problem that lies is the daughter that's taking care of the mother is really not looking for a place for her, so she gets to sit there and live for free.
Yeah, she's using your spot as the spot.
Yeah. I didn't get that you weren't the only one on the title. I'm sorry, I didn't get that part.
No, I didn't either.
Okay, why are you both on title again? How did you get on title?
Okay, let me refresh. The original deal of what happened was she was going through foreclosure. Then I agreed to catch her up and pretty much buy the house out for a certain amount. And then once I got her back, up current and everything, I took over paying the mortgage and everything. And then after 2 years, she was supposed to move out and then remove her name off the deed to give me the property. But the problem is, after 2 years, she never moved out. And now, I'm just stuck paying the mortgage, and who knows when she wants to move out, because, like I said, the original contract that I noticed didn't have clearly written in there that she was supposed to leave in the 2 years. It was stated she was supposed to leave when she find, senior housing.
Cedric, are you paying a mortgage that's not in your name?
Correct, yes.
Wow. So you're totally unprotected. I know you're on title, right? You said you're on co-title?
I'm on title, though, yes.
Go ahead.
Is it in the contract that she removes herself from title?
Correct, when she moved out.
And there was a time frame of when she needed to move out, right? That wasn't in there?
Originally, when we discussed the deal, we had mentioned the 2 years, and then there was one contract written up and it was wrong. And so when they wrote the contract again, I guess the lawyers overlooked that and left out that part, which is why, she's able to be in this position she's in right now.
So what would happen if you stopped making the mortgage payment?
Then to me, I think I end up losing all that money I invested in there.
No, because you're still on title.
Yes, I'm still on title, correct.
So they can't sell the house without you, and you can't sell the house without them.
Correct.
I think that you have a little more. I think you have a little more leverage than you think you do. Maybe I'm just throwing out some ideas. There might be a chess game you could play.
You could
to get some kind of resolution. I'm not saying to hurt anybody,
right?
But to try to get a resolution on this. So you might have some options. What I would do, give me a call on Tuesday, not Monday, Cedric, because I'm slammed Monday. I won't be able to take your call. But reach out to me on Tuesday for real, and let's talk off air about that. That's an interesting one.
Well, I figure it would be an interesting topic on the air in case someone else came across that too.
Yeah,
the deal would have worked out fine had she moved out in 2 years. But on the flip side of that, like I said, she developed the Alzheimer's, so it's not really her fault that she didn't leave, because now her daughter is more in control of taking care of her, and the daughter is more or less taking advantage of the situation because, hey, she don't have to pay rent or anything either.
Yeah, because the cost to find a place for her would be, I'm sure, pretty substantial, and the cost right now for them to take care of her is the electric bill, the cable bill.
Yeah,
food.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. The motivation's definitely on their side.
Be careful when you do this kind of stuff, because at the same time, because it's coming back to me, Cedric, now that you've talked about this in more detail. And There was another guy around the same time that was calling me as Cedric was, and his situation is he had a neighbor down the street just like Cedric, but it was an older gentleman, and the older gentleman really he was a Vietnam vet or something, and the neighbor used to cut the lawn all the time for him and do all this nice stuff for the guy, take him grocery shopping and all that.
Kind of coming back to me too.
Really cool. And then the guy wanted to give him the property, right? As a thank you, he wanted to say, hey, when I pass. And we went to attorneys with him. We used the attorneys, right? They took that advice and they did work it out in a good way, but they worked it out where both sides were protected and everybody knew exactly. Now, I know you guys used attorneys too, but it seems like the attorney didn't do what they were supposed to do. Yeah, you should give me a call off air because I might have some people you should talk to.
Very good.
Okay.
You want to put him on hold and make sure he's got a number there, Jimothy?
I have his number,
All right,
his
perfect.
callback number already, so we're good to go.
Perfect.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for calling. I'm sorry you're going through that.
Yeah, that sucks. So I hope you have a decent weekend, and hopefully we can get some resolution for you there, Cedric.
Right. It's really not a big stress because, like I said, I really don't want to do anything for to the grandma.
Yeah.
Because to me, even if she was paying something toward the mortgage, that'd be fine. I don't care. She can stay there all she wants. It's just the daughter who's living there. Plus, she's bringing her son in, and it's like they're just mooching off of me paying that, and that's what I don't mind. If she was there by herself, I'm fine. I would be fine with it.
Right.
And that might be the resolution is maybe you do sit down and be like, look, I'm not just footing this bill, y'all. You want to chip in here? We can talk.
Well, what I'm concerned about, we'll talk about this off air, but go ahead, Cedric.
I was saying I went that route with the daughter, and the daughter is always coming up with all these different excuses. But meanwhile, she's constantly going on vacation, buying new cars, and all this other stuff. But yet, when I ask her about, I don't have any money for that. Oh, I don't have any money to do an extra couple of $100 throw it at you. You understand? And that's the part that bothers me.
Well, what I'm worried about for you, Cedric, is that you're on title on a property that you can't sell unless they release their side of the title. And you're paying all the bills.
Yeah, and they're not willing to chip in.
Yeah, and if they're acting like this now, what's going to happen later? Are they going to be stand up and really do what needs to be done later? I think you're in a very vulnerable. I think you have some leverage, but you're also vulnerable too.
Yeah,
that's why I want to talk to you off air.
I think before the Alzheimer's, I think the answer would have been absolutely yes. But I think now that different people are calling the shots,
that's what it's about
for that side. Yeah, things have changed a little bit. We'll get some more potential advice for you and maybe some outs for you, Cedric. All right.
All
right, buddy. Thanks for being out there. We appreciate you very much. We're gonna do a little reset and get back
let's go ahead and do a reset. On the flip side, we're going to talk about the 30 worst and best insurance companies across the whole nation. And what makes them worst and best?
Well, we'll find out and so much more. Thanks for being with us on a Saturday. Got almost a full hour remaining for you. You're always welcome to join us like Cedric just did. 877-927-6969. Toll free. Of course, if you're not comfortable on the radio, believe me, I understand. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. You get access to the entire team. Pros, experts in their field. All one click away. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Thanks for being with us every Saturday right here on Real Radio.
When the smart speaker you gave your parents eventually becomes yours, tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio. Here's the latest with weather on Real Radio.
I'm CBS 12 meteorologist Charlotte Carl. We are going to be monitoring some showers and storms throughout the remainder of your Saturday. Temperatures will get into the middle 80s, so a degree or two below where we normally expect temperatures to be this time of year, thanks to all of the cloud cover associated with the showers and storms making their way through.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Get 2 #1 selling bacon cheeseburgers, Wendy's JBC, plus medium fries and soft drink for just $8. Total game changer. Order today. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Request JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Claim for independent market research company.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rao from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rao will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rao, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
From the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
Have you been in an accident? Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
Real Radio 92.1 is WZZR West Palm Beach, an iHeartRadio station.
Make us the #1 preset on your car radio and on the free new and improved iHeartRadio app. Listen for all your music, radio, and podcasts. Free never sounded so good. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
You're looking in live West Palm Beach, Florida. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. 2 hours of infotainment on a Saturday. Thanks for being there. Timothy's our producer extraordinaire. What's up, my dude?
Hello, and good morning, gentlemen. Happy to be here.
Always a pleasure to see you, and good morning to you as well. Johnny C., that's me, your old buddy, your old pal. Ross Komarinetz is here on a Saturday. He's with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. What's up, Ross?
You know that's right.
You rocking the Knowles gear. You ready for a ACC showdown, I see.
Is that today?
Oh, wait, is it? Maybe it's tomorrow. Yeah, you should tune in tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't really pay attention. So if you're saying it's tomorrow.
The Knowles cannot start 0-2 in ACC play. That is a daunting task to overcome. I think you come with some A game today for sure.
I think it'll be a good game.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have a very interesting statoid. If you'd like, I'll share with you in a moment.
Please.
Yes. Jimmy D's right over there. He's our fearless leader. He's with the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams Innovations. That's a top producing Keller Williams team. If you don't know, now you know. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, I'm doing good.
What's wrong?
It's
What's
kinda
up?
weird today.
So here's
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
You want
As
this
long
little?
as you can hear me, I'm good.
Want this little statoid? Here you go.
What's that?
So we've had 15 ranked matchups in college football this year. 15. The lower ranked team is 12-3 against the higher ranked team. 13-2 against the spread. Florida State lower ranked against Miami today, and the other one is
Getting how many?
Vandy. I'm not sure the spread. I'll have to let you know
Okay.
on that. And the other one's Vandy and
I'll look that
Alabama.
up.
Yeah. So just that doesn't mean anything. It's just for the stat freaks out there. Lower ranked 12-3 straight up, 13-2 on the year against a higher ranked opponent. We just saw it last week with Ole Miss beat LSU and Alabama beat Georgia. Beat them. They were underdogs. Beat them. Well, no, I take that back. Actually, they weren't underdogs, but they did cover. So those last week, both might have worked. I know the Ole Miss game was when the lower ranked team is favored against the higher ranked team. That is like almost, you can't use the L word in gambling. Lock. You can never say. You can't even say it out loud. Like you can't ever. There are no locks. But when the lower ranked team is favored against the higher ranked team, man, that's the side you want to be on. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
Florida State's getting 4.5, and they're playing in Tallahassee.
Yeah, so it's not that reverse kind of favorite aspect, but
right.
12-3 straight up and 13-2 against the spread. I'm just throwing out ridiculous stats, and really it's just to make my guy Ross feel good.
You
Right
got
now
10
he's like-
grand on the Knowles today?
Yeah, 20 actually.
20. Okay,
Yeah,
I like it.
Straight up, too.
straight up.
Yeah, plus
Yeah. Who
155.
needs the damn points?
That's right.
Yeah, no,
Spoken
just
like a true fan.
trying to, yeah, was it? I take that back. Go Gators.
That's funny.
Speaking of that, Florida is getting 4.5 against number 9 Texas today, and they're playing in Gainesville.
Yeah, oof. That is 12:30 pregame, 3:30 kick here,
Right here on Real
on
Radio. Yeah.
Home of Florida Gator football. Ross,
Have you been to a Gator game, Johnny? You've been to Gator games,
I
right?
have, yeah.
Like live Gator games over there?
yeah, I bet I saw Ole Miss.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay, I was wondering.
it was fun. As years ago, it was fun.
Yeah.
In Gainesville, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, I know you've been to the national championship game that they
course.
won the one year.
That was
that was
that
one year. Hard Rock.
That 1 year. You stop with that one. I stacked a few of them, son. That was 08 down here. Yeah, against Oklahoma.
Okay,
Yeah,
yep.
that was fun. And
So
it made Greek stay all the way to the bitter end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, dude, we are watching that championship trophy be held. I'm gonna stand here and cry like a child. You can just stand next to me and witness it.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. We're going to get into Consumer Reports did a survey of ranks best and worst homeowners insurer companies, right? I'm not going to go. They reviewed 27,000 insurance experiences, whatever the hell that means, among 24,000 policyholders across 28 companies. And they said only three got the Consumer Reports stamp of approval, and one was the worst out of all 28 companies by far.
They looked at 28 companies and came up with the 30 worst.
I know that's weird,
That's
isn't
fun.
it? It
That's
is.
fun.
It
Those
says
other
across
two are
28
like,
companies.
hey, thanks. Thanks for
Let's
doing a
see.
deep
Where-
dive.
Yeah, how did they come up with the 30? Maybe the 30 is. I came up with the 30. Maybe
You rounded up.
I might have rounded up. I don't know how I came up with 30 because the headline does not say 30.
Oh, gotcha. I was like, they
So
just,
this is my mistake.
Spitefully threw in a couple. They're like, I don't even like
Jimmy
them.
D.
So put them
That's
in
a
there.
Jimmy D reading. Okay, so just to set some parameters before we get into the survey thing, just to give us an idea where we're at nationally. I'm sorry, hold on here. Nationally, the average annual premium now falls between $2,000 and $3,300 a year, depending on the methodology used. NerdWallet, for example, says that the average policy is about $2,100 a year, while Consumer Federation of America says that it's closer to $3,300 a year. Okay. Now, in high risk areas in certain zip codes, it could be 82% more than the lower risk zones. So California, Florida, Louisiana, those are the ones that usually have those higher risk zones, zip codes than other parts of the country. Okay. So just to give you an idea, and I think most people down here, with the exception of Jimothy, would love to have a $2,100 a year insurance policy because
Actually,
yours is a little less, right? Yours is a little
mine's
less.
going to go down this year. Ross going to save me another $600 on
$600?
Yeah, right.
Come on, that's a shout out.
Yep,
That's a shout out right there. That's
On
$2
homeowners.
a day. That's
Yep.
almost $2 a day.
And what about 150 on the flood insurance?
Wow.
Yeah, he was able to save. So
Wow.
that's
$750.
it's coming down. So down
So-
to 1,800.
Didn't expect that. To see, learn something every day on the show. That's why you got to call Ross. We've been telling people, and a lot of people doing this. By the way, Ross, I forgot to send you one. I just remembered in my head. There's a guy named David that I'm going to be sending over to you today. I'll tell him that you'll reach out to him Monday. He called me on Friday when I was driving in the car, so I forgot to do it yesterday. So anyway, what he wants to do is he just wants an insurance quote because he said his policy quote went so much higher and it won't insure everything that he needs on the property or something. So he wants to get a quote from Ross. And man, he listens to the show. I could tell. I didn't ask if he's a long time listener or not, but he gave me his address, his phone. He gave me everything you need to. So all I got to do is send Ross the info. Ross can send the info back. So thank you, David.
Perfect.
But if you're looking to get a reduction in your insurance, this is a little cycle right now where people are getting reductions.
Yeah.
Right. Correct, Ross?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, especially if you have a newer roof. Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
I took somebody, they replaced their roof. One of my clients, their policy went for, they were paying like 10 grand to like 5.
Wow.
My
Wow.
goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah. You guys got to start calling up Ross.
I might
and
get a
find out
roof. I
what's
don't even
going
know if
on.
I need
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Just get the roof.
I got a 10-year-old roof.
I'll
Let's
put
do
a new
this.
roof on my other new roof, on top of my new roof. I might get it, save an extra 5.
Yeah, what if you got like a 10-year-old roof? Can I get like 5 grand shaved off?
Maybe, depending on the other factors.
I know that there was a time when the prices were going up. All right, when we were in that trend that every
Yeah.
year, I mean, it was jumping
So bad.
10, 15%. There was a point where I know that, if I remember right, there were some companies that were they wouldn't even insure you if your roof was more than 5 years old.
Yeah. At
Is
one
that
point,
is that still
no,
out there, or
no.
did that go away?
That, I mean, most of the carriers have kind of relaxed their roof restrictions.
Okay.
Now, still, once you get to 15 years, and then it gets a little bit tighter.
Okay.
Some carriers want proof that it's got 5 years left. Then you have to submit it to them before. Not talking about Citizens, but some companies, they want to see a 4-point to see that roof condition, and then they'll approve it from there. But that 5 year. One time we had a company that wouldn't write a roof that was more than 1 year old.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I just remember it was so ridiculous. So that was kind of part of that fraud stuff that was going on. Maybe, I mean, it was sort of tied in together.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, that's all. It was all tied in together.
Right.
Because the companies just didn't want to argue in court whether or not there was hail that damaged your roof but didn't damage your cars or anybody else's cars, or was that just a 20-year-old roof that's been baking in the Florida sun for the salt Florida air.
Yep.
So they just said, all right, well, we're just not going to write policies that have roofs that are a little bit older
So
anymore.
the point is, we're kind of trending in the right direction.
We're trending back,
Yeah.
which is exactly what Ross explained to us a couple of years ago when they changed the laws to make it harder to sue the insurance companies. Because look, it'll probably take about 18 months, and we're going to start seeing. We're about 2.5 years out now, I think.
We're really starting to see.
And we're
movement.
really
December of
starting to see
22. So we're
Yep.
we're at about year 3, but it took 4 or 5 months before those changes went into
Mhm.
effect. But yeah, we're starting. Carriers are reducing rates.
Yeah.
Um,
So
and
now I get to say one of my favorite lines. If you're looking to reduce your mortgage payment but don't want to pay for a refi, you got to call Ross, right?
Yeah.
You got to call Ross because you might get a reduction in your escrow payment for cheaper insurance. So definitely do that. So Consumer Reports, they had 28 companies they reviewed. Let me read you the 3. It was pretty amazing when I read the 3 that they loved. Okay, so this one is really crazy. NJM Insurance Company, operating in just 5 states, received high marks for customer loyalty and long-term relationships, with policyholders reporting a median tenure of 19 years with the company. So people that go, they stay. Okay. As a mutual insurer, NGM reinvests profits for its members. So the profits they make, they reinvest some of it into investments so they can keep the costs low for their consumers. And they say, but the problem is it has limited availability, keeps it out of the reach for most homeowners because it's only in 5 states, and I'm sure they're very selective of who they keep.
Right.
But they're building relationships. That company is building a relationship. Average 19 years. Is that high, Ross? I would assume.
There's Florida homeowners insurance companies that haven't even been around for 19 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So yeah.
They got 1 year of loyalty and they're like, all right, we got
it. We got a reissue. Awesome.
Yeah, it's one thing to stay with your same insurance company for 19 years because you just don't know any better. You don't shop it. And it's another where you feel like, man, I don't even want to look to leave. They take such good care of me. You know,
I'm sure they've that companies that, experienced incredible rate stability. They're probably not increasing their rates by 45% year over year.
Yep.
Right. Not pushing people to look.
Right. And I bet there's probably a good chance that they also are able to bundle their auto.
Mm-hmm.
So, it creates, if you want to say loyalty, but it's one, it's harder to leave. And then 2, you got to have some very significant savings on both sides for, in those situations.
Yeah. Sure. And I bet you that a lot of the customers, and I might be wrong about this, I bet you a lot of the customers aren't looking out to screw over the company. You know what I mean? Like if you've been with them for a long time, you've had really low rates for a long time, they're reinvesting money, you're actually seeing profits helping keep down the costs and everything. You're probably not calling them up when that disreputable roofer says, hey, you had hail from 5 years ago, nothing else got damaged except the 3 dimples in your roof. Do you want a new roof?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? These companies, these people are like, nah, I'll stick with my company. Thank you very much.
Low risk areas.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's low risk area and everything, but that's pretty wild. So here's number 2. Number 2, Erie Insurance, available in 12 states, including Washington, D.C., scored strongly for affordability with an average premium of only $1,153, which was the lowest in the survey. Customers praised its claims process and agent access through Erie's regional footprint. Though Erie's regional footprint remains modest because it's only in 12 states. The biggest company that's most well known, believe it or not, USAA, got very high marks for insurance.
People love USAA.
Yeah, and they say that they have fewer rate hikes and stability, which Ross was talking about. And they said really good customer service. Now, the average premium for USAA families was only $2,013, right? So that's at the lower end of that $2,000 to $3,300 that we were looking at.
Right.
The one thing I have to say about USAA, they might be excellent for insurance. I don't know. But when you deal with mortgage with USAA and you're a buyer, not refi, but buying, they're not always the greatest to work with because their approval letters stink. Okay. So the way they write their approval letters, it doesn't make a seller feel warm and fuzzy that the company has done what they're supposed to do to qualify you for the mortgage.
Really?
And if you call them to ask them to rewrite it, because I've done that, they will not. And they will say, that's too bad. This is our policy. If the seller doesn't want our letter, they don't want our letter. I'm like, so you're willing to let your customer lose a house they want to buy that they turned an offer in because your approval letter is being questioned and you don't want to change it around to help your customer out? Nope, we're not doing that. And I'm like, I don't really want to work with you. Right. So we got them over to our mortgage company and we did it our way. But the thing is that USAA, people love USAA though. I'm saying people probably ready to be very angry at me right now, banging on their radio or whatever. USAA is people that have USA, they feel very strongly tied to it. And the funny thing is they think it's government backed because it's for military families,
right?
But it's not. That's the niche that the insurance company created. It has nothing to do They just decided that's the segment they wanted to go after, and that's how they went after it. So it isn't really anything to do with the government or anything. It's just a company that likes working with government, military families, and their relatives. Now,
Yeah, I
what
don't know
was?
if I ever associated them with government backed or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they're only for military and family. You can pass it down to your family. They do a great job of advertising that.
Yeah, they do.
But I don't know if I ever assumed they were government backed.
Yeah, I maybe when I first started as a realtor, because I used to deal with a lot of Coast Guard members at US, they all wanted to use USAA at that time, right?
And that
So
that
maybe-
it's the advertising aspect that didn't tie it in for me. Because if it's just government backed and only for the military, it would just be part of your military enrollment.
Yeah, that's true
right?
too. You wouldn't have to advertise it out and everything.
Right.
Right.
It's
You
for the
wouldn't need
people
it.
that don't quite
Yeah,
know.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, what do you think the worst insurance company out of the 28, not 30, only 28? What was the worst out of the worst? The very worst.
It's a name we should know.
Yeah, you know it.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh.
you know it. It's like on the tip of your tongue right
Not
now.
Citizens.
Yes, Citizens.
No.
Citizens Property
Citizens
Insurance scored 14 out of 100 on the Consumer Reports thing. 14 out of
Poor
100.
Citizens. They just
That's the worst of the worst.
They can't catch a break.
So listen how they describe it, right? With average premiums nearing $3,000, limited coverage options, and frequent rate hikes, Citizens drew widespread frustration. Many policyholders owners noted that they had little choice but to turn to Citizens after being dropped by private carriers.
I like how
What?
Citizens is still offering you
I
coverage,
know, and you're mad
you
at
think
'em.
it's worse than the company that
It's so
kicked
true.
you out.
Exactly.
If
I
you
was
could-
thinking the same thing.
If you can comprehend what was just read to you, people don't like them because they actually give them insurance when other companies won't.
Yeah.
Anybody
Huh.
that's going to join me into the club, I don't want to join, right?
What?
And their rate hikes are only capped by 15%, while the other
Versus-
companies are doing 40, 50, 70, but the frequent rate hikes.
Yeah, so
Oh,
it's
man.
funny how people are. That's why I wanted to talk about this. So Ross, from this perspective stuff, okay, from an agent's point of view, books a lot of business. What do you like from watching different insurance companies dealing with different claims from different people over time and stuff? What makes in your mind, what makes a good responsive insurance company? Like what qualities do they have versus the ones that you feel are not good? I'm not going to ask you to give names of
No,
companies.
I mean, from my perspective,
Yeah.
what I like about working with an insurance company is if it looks like a good risk to me, like I'm looking at the 4-point, looks okay, house isn't fine, or the house is fine, when I submit it to that carrier and bind the policy and give them all the documents and they come out there and do their inspection, are my fingers crossed hoping that they're not going to find something nitpicky and then cancel the policy? Right? Like we want ease of doing business, or is to get anything done with them. Is that how easy is that? Of course, do they pay claims is number one. I don't think there's one particular carrier that we work with that we get any more complaints about regarding claims. It's all, everybody kind of has the same complaint regardless of carrier. But on my end, it's, hey, am I going to write this policy? Are they going to write this policy, and are they going to keep it, or are they just going to come out and cancel it or give us hassle down the road for something,
And then from like a consumer point of view, when they do file claims and stuff, I know you're not involved in that like heavy duty or anything, but I'm sure you hear scuttleback or feedback from people as they're going through that. Most of the time, is it pretty straightforward when you file the claim, or?
Well, part of that legislation was passed, put a lot of time requirements on responses and things like that. So my biggest, or the complaint that I would get more is, I filed the claim, the adjuster came out, I keep emailing, I keep calling them, nobody's getting back to me. Can you help? Okay. All right, let me see what's going on. Now we don't really have that anymore, just because, hey, they got to get back to you by a certain time.
I
now.
forgot about those timelines.
Yeah, so
those
that-
are
that has
they
kind
really
of-
they're strict about that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's good to know. I
Yeah,
thought
so-
that was like very ephemeral.
I haven't
You know?
had anybody call me and say, this is completely bogus. I had this and they're not paying. So, touch wood, I haven't had any of that over the last, kind of year and a half. Everything seems to be going okay. Also, we've been pretty good with not having any storms.
True.
So hopefully that stays
Oh
the
my God,
case.
Kate, we've been so blessed right now.
You're very lucky.
Very blessed.
Yeah.
So
I'm not allowed to talk about it, though.
It's probably better.
Johnny
Just
doesn't let me talk about it.
Just leave it alone.
I remember every year I wanted to do hurricane season and
What
everything,
season?
and then Johnny's like, "You're jinxing everybody."
Today's
And I'm
Seminole
like, "Okay,
season.
I'm stopping."
It's Seminole season.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just rolls off the tip of your tongue so easily.
I'm never going to try to boost you up anymore. I'm just not. If you try to drag me in there with you, I'm just not going to do it anymore.
To the winning side?
Oh,
You don't want to come on over?
I'm done.
So let's talk a little bit about accidental landlords, if you don't mind. Okay, so we're going to talk about. Did you have anything more, Ross, about that or anything? I'm sorry.
No.
sorry.
I mean, again, it's for us. It's when we place the policy with that carrier. Are we confident that carrier is going to keep the policy?
Mm-hmm.
And there's some things where I know that I see something in a photo, and I'm like, we can't send it to that company, even though they might be the most competitive. I know if we send it to them, they're going to come back and want all this stuff replaced. And so, it's sometimes I'll go over that with the customer and say, hey, we can throw it in there, but there's a good chance that they may come back and say, we want all this stuff replaced. And then we'd have to write a new policy.
So that's what I was going to. Based on what you're saying, are you talking about when people buy the house, have the policy approved, they get the closing, and then afterwards the policy holder says, I'm not comfortable with the features of the house or the construction of the house or whatever, and back out? Or are you talking about before they close?
Well, so there's sometimes there's some carriers that requires to upload some sort of inspection for them to review
Mm-hmm.
in order for us to even get a policy.
Mhm.
Most of the time, the actual insurance company doesn't see anything that has to do with that house until, like the effective date or the closing date. And that's when they start to underwrite the policy, because we don't most of the time you don't submit anything. You have to submit a signed application, the wind mitigation report, and then the 4-point inspection.
Mhm.
And then that's when they start looking at it. And then they're also going to send their own people out to do their own new business inspection, to put their eyes on it too. And so sometimes, I can look at a 4-point and say, I know that company's not going to like that.
Right.
So, hey, you want to throw it against the wall? And then maybe you're going to have to replace all that, or, let's just move on and go with somebody who's going to take it and we'll keep it and we don't have any hassle.
And I do remember one time, I guess it was 2022 or 2023. I've been 2023, where we had a roof that was older, but we got the useful life report came back okay. But when the insurance company saw the photos of the field of the roof, they could see how many patches had been done over time, even though they had the useful life requirement was met. They were like, no, there were too many patches. We want a new roof for that. We're not going to insure it. So that does happen.
Yeah,
It does happen. And that was approved. Like, we thought we were done with the insurance issue on that. It popped up at the last minute. I was the buyer's agent on that one.
Quick question. So we're talking about got started with these 28 worst property insurance companies. The insurance companies are rated by who? Who does that rating?
Right now, Demotech.
Demotech.
And then there's like KBRA does like one company.
And do you know, and probably not all of them, but the parameters of those ratings are based on, I'm sure there's some consumer complaints, but then there's, what else is involved in the rating system?
They're just rating their financials.
That's all that is
Mhm.
how their standing is as a company.
Right.
I got you. So any customer service aspect has nothing to do with. They're an A-rated company. That just means that they have plenty of money in the coffers. They're set up well financially.
Right. Those are financial rating,
which is an
companies.
important aspect when you're looking for your insurance company for sure. And then there's the other parts, which Jim was kind of touching on, which is more consumer related, response time, etc. Although it looks like in Florida, response time is being regulated now and being regulated pretty massively now.
Yeah.
Which is good. But so from your perspective, like when you're shopping, price, affordability matters, right? But also competitiveness, we'll call. But that rating does matter because we want to be binding to companies that you feel like you have a shot of having a payout of your claim. I mean,
yeah, we don't want to put you with somebody who may not pay the claim.
And is there a floor? Because like in high school, right? You have to have a certain grade to pass. If you have an F rating, do you just not get to bind policies with them in Florida? Is there a floor?
I've never seen an F.
Okay.
All the companies we write with are A-rated. I don't know if there's any F companies in.
Yeah, just you'd think they wouldn't exist, right?
Yeah, they happen to be all A-rated.
Which is interesting, right? I guess, but maybe we're just talking about the bare minimum. Like you don't get to write policies unless you're A-rated, and that means you have to have so much money backing you. And I mean, that's nice to know that there's at least some kind of responsibility in allowing these companies in.
When all those companies went bankrupt, they were all A-rated till.
See, that's where I'm at, though. I'm glad you're getting there because I don't want to sound like the conspiracy guy. Like when we had, they were A-rated. That meant they had enough money. What happened to all the money? You don't have the answers.
Well,
find someone else, Johnny.
They didn't give it to me.
This is related to the 30 law changes that happened. We talked about earlier today. One of the law changes was they continued to hide financial stability of insurance companies that get in trouble. There's something called financial services, something or other, and the insurance companies have to show that they're financially healthy to the insurance industry, the insurance board for the government, but that's not public record. So we can't know as consumers whether the insurance companies are financially sound or not. So they're blocking that again. More about where transparent.
So it could just be we say they are, so they are.
Yeah,
I mean that's
if you say they are.
That's what we're playing.
Yeah. The fundamentals of our economy are strong.
We're good.
The fundamentals of our economy are strong.
Trust me, we're good.
So let's talk a little bit about accidental landlords, because I thought this kind of interesting. It reminds me of this guy I had tried to sell a house for in 2022. It was a very slow market at that point, and he wasn't willing to drop his price. And the guy, and this is the biggest problem that he had, he didn't want to drop his price because he had solar panels that he put on the house, and there was a huge bill for it. And he wanted the new buyers to pay for the solar panels, like pick up where he left off.
Thinking it was like, oh, this is a slam dunk. Everybody wants this.
Yeah,
this
and I'm like, hardly anybody wants it unless you're going to live there forever. And people don't want to pay for it because they didn't choose to buy it. You did.
Right.
And now you're saying, hey, I bought this contraption. Why don't you take over the payments? So that usually doesn't work in the real world most of the time, unless you get very lucky and you really find a greenie buyer. I did know a greenie buyer. I'm calling greenies. But they wanted solar paneled house, and they were only looking for that. So if you find somebody like that, there's value there, but that's a very small slice of the pie. So what happened during 2022, I couldn't sell the property for the price we wanted. My listing was about to expire, so we canceled it, and he decided he was going to rent it. I told him I didn't think that was a really good idea. But he talked to this rental guy that said that he can make a lot of money on the rent. I didn't think so. The rent came in 1/3 lower than what the guy said it was going to come in. And he kept it as a rental. And I was like, wow, the house is going to be, the roof's going to be older. The stuff's going to be older. It isn't going to look as nice as it does now because it's going to be a renter. You live out of state. If anything happens, you're not going to have somebody down here. And then when you go ready to put it back on the market to sell, you're going to do all the sprucing up and you're not going to be around. And after all that, are you really making any money, especially because you got 1/3 less on the mortgage or the rent that you thought you were going to get. So that didn't work out so well. So that's what I mean by that's what they mean by accidental landlords. They're people who put their house on the market, couldn't sell it, and now they're renting it out because they don't want to live there anymore. So out of the top cities that have turned into accidental landlords, according to the New York Times, Houston is number one with 7% of the houses that didn't sell, they turned into rental properties. Dallas was number two. Phoenix was number three. And number four was Tampa. Tampa had a 4% accidental landlord rate. And then Atlanta's number five or number six. And Charlotte, North Carolina is number 7.
I think that really exemplifies how hard it can be for so many just regular people to be put themselves in a position to be a homeowner, right? The demand is there. They can afford a decent rent because these rents aren't cheap, right? We know rents aren't cheap. I guess in the scenario you talked about, third less than they were anticipating, but still pretty expensive, I'm sure. They can afford a mortgage payment. They just can't get past the hurdles, and then it's usually the cash savings required, and then it would be credit after that, because the harder it is for you to save money, that means you're probably relying more on the credit cards, and we know how that cycle can be. Believe me, that is all too familiar. So I think that really exemplifies how hard it is to get yourself in a position to be a homeowner. It can be a daunting task for folks, because there's just not the pool of buyers that are there, right? And maybe the market's just so frothy, interest rates are just right. Like, it's just a really, really tough hill now for first-time buyers.
It can be very tough. So,
but it's also in a position, strangely, where there's so much concession to be had from real legit sellers. These sellers, if they put more concession in, maybe they sell that home versus stumbling into accidental landlords. I mean, to look at the other side of the coin.
Exactly. If he had given up the solar panel, the house would have been sold 5 times over. Like, if he had given up passing that cost on to the consumer, to the buyer, would have been sold 5 times over. Here's the other thing that's kind of interesting about this. All of these markets also happen to be the markets I just mentioned: Dallas, Houston, Phoenix, Tampa, North Carolina. All those markets have the highest percentage of institutional investment companies that bought houses and turned them into rentals.
Wow.
So what's happening is those companies have such a big toehold in the market, in those specific markets, that they're putting their houses on the market to sell. And it's cannibalizing the regular consumer because they're coming in lower and they're buying the institutional properties now. So it's just kind of interesting about the accidental landlord. What the tips you need to know is, don't become an accidental landlord. Okay, number one, know your numbers. Be realistic about what your numbers are. Don't expect that you're going to get 1/3 more than you're going to get for your rent. That's a big mistake. You also have to figure out, how old are all my big ticket items? How old is my roof? How old is my AC? How old is my water heater? All of those things really matter, because if you're on the older edge of it, let's say you have a 13-year-old roof and you turned it into a rental, and by the time that you're going to go sell it, it's a 16-year-old roof, and then you have a problem with your roof. Same with your AC. If you're at 7-8 years with your AC, right, and then you go to sell it a couple of years later, and now you got a 10 or 11-year-old AC, you're probably going to have to pay for that AC as a cost of doing business when you go to sell the house.
Oh, yeah.
7 or 8, you're right on the edge, where the buyer today with the 7 or 8-year-old AC might be okay with it and just take the house as it is and not start negotiating it. So all these things are costs to do. The other thing is, are you going to use a property manager or not? Are you going to be in the area or not be in the area? So if somebody says, hey, my toilets stop up at 2:00 in the morning, who's going to take care of that? Right. And you're the landlord, so it's your responsibility.
That's right.
So don't become a landlord unless you want to be a landlord. My advice is, even if you have a property that, unless it's like silly, stupid, if you have a property that you inherited, but you weren't planning on using it for a rental property, a lot of times you'll be better off selling that property, making the profit, and then buying the rental property that you want that makes sense. Okay, that makes financial sense and everything.
Sure.
Once in a while, you can get a rental, an inherited property where rental makes a lot of sense. You owe no mortgage. It's in a safe neighborhood. The house is in decent condition and you can rent it out. Well, then it's all gravy for that. But most people aren't in that situation. So don't become an accidental landlord. And there's more and more of it happening all over the country. I just thought that's kind of interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah. Just a product of the environment, the mortgage environment right now. I mean, I guess, are we going to see it keep going, do you think? Just assuming not much changes?
This whole when those institutional investors, I remember when they were buying everything up during the bust, we talked about it a lot.
It was pushing all the values
and
up.
I kept saying, how are they making any money doing this? They're paying retail value or above retail value. The houses need work. They're turning them into rental, and then they're going to have to rework on it again after the rental to resell it. And then we found out the answer to that was they didn't know what they were doing, and a lot of them lost billions and billions and billions of dollars. Redfin, and I can't even remember all the different.
Zillow.
No, I don't know if so. Did Zillow get into that field? I can't remember.
I bought a condo from Zillow.
Oh, okay, Zillow. Yep. Then Zillow took a big bath. They took baths too. I mean, billions of dollars, not hundreds of millions, billions. And
that's just a couple of them.
Yeah, and they're institutional investors, and they didn't know how to be correct landlords because they didn't know their numbers, right? Their numbers weren't right. So now their plan was they were going to keep them 5 to 7 years and sell them. So we're seeing that happen a lot, especially because we have a weaker market. So they're getting rid of them, but and they're still buying more. It isn't like they're getting out. They're just reconfiguring their inventory is what they're doing. So anyway, it's kind of interesting. Don't be a accidental landlord. Be a purposeful landlord.
Yeah.
That means you come up with a plan, you have a plan, and you work the plan and you make money. That's the way you be a landlord, is a purposeful landlord. Really important.
Have some intent.
Here's something really interesting. I thought we'd wrap up on this. Florida, according to, which survey is this? According to a study by a fencing company, this is really brilliant for marketing. R&T Fence Company did a nationwide study to find out what state has the most expensive backyard, like per square foot. Who's paying most for outside property? Florida.
Huh.
Florida's backyards, on average, according to this thing, is worth $427,000 your backyard, right? Now, so let me explain how they came up with this. I thought it was interesting.
My backyard's not that nice.
Right.
I mean, you've had a car
you
try
got
to
the
get into
pool.
it. So it's got to be somewhat nice.
You got the drive-through pool.
Yeah.
There's demand. There's demand.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got the drive-through pool. You got the nice park in the back, right? You do have a nice park.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So
But that's not mine.
I know, right? Florida homeowners may not realize it, but they're sitting on a valuable asset worth more than $427,000, their backyard. A new study by fence installation experts, RT Fence, shows Florida ranks 10th, only 10th nationwide for most expensive yards, paying nearly $39 a square foot for outdoor space, right? So the study found that Florida's yards average about 11,043 square feet with a price of $38.70 per square foot. The average home in Florida is 1,960 square feet, costing about $519,000. That means the typical yard spans 11,043 square feet, totaling $427,000.
Huh.
So let me see. So California tops the list with yards costing more than $80 per square foot. California ranks first with the average yard price of $80.32 per square foot. California's high garden costs come despite the state having relatively small average yard sizes of just 7,800 square feet. So we're at 11,000 square feet, our average, but they're only 7,800, and they're paying double what we're paying for our per square foot yard. I just thought that was kind of interesting that they were trying to break out how much your yard is worth.
It is interesting.
And I thought it was kind of interesting. We're number 10. I don't know if it showed the other ones, though. I'm interesting. Oh, though Florida offers more yard space than denser states like New Jersey or California, its yard sizes are still significantly below the national average of 23,000 square feet. The average yard is 23,000 square feet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we're only 11. So we're
Yeah.
like half of that. And they say the reason why our backyards are smaller but also expensive is they're blaming it on the not blaming, but they're saying it's the retirees, right? Retirees, because they don't want the big yard and everything. They want smaller yards. They have 0 lot lines in a lot of the communities and things like that.
True,
So we have
yeah.
smaller. The cheapest, if you're wondering where the cheapest affordable backyard is, it's Alaska, $2.15 a square foot compared to $38 up
Huh.
here.
And you can have a moose come through it.
And you
Yeah.
can have a moose. Yep,
Charge
exactly.
him rent.
And I think you can see Russia right over the way.
Right, it's right
I
over
think,
there
yeah,
from
right
what I
over there.
understand. Yeah.
See from my house.
So,
Look at that.
so anyway, I just thought that was interesting about the backyards and how much backyards. So next time you're sitting in your backyard, have a cup of coffee, thinking, "Hey, this is worth $427,000."
I'm gonna be sitting back there going, I might sell that corner
Just
over
sell
there.
the backyard,
Just
keep
that
the
part
house.
right there.
Yeah,
You
right
could,
there.
like,
I'll keep-
rent your
I'll s-
pool.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
I could, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of interesting.
Just do that by like the day, by the hour.
You know.
Whatever you want, man.
How would my property insurance handle me renting my pool? Because there's some major liability there.
Yeah, probably wouldn't cover it because you're running a business.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
I
probably
forgot.
not going to work well.
I'm
for me.
sorry. I know we got like 4 minutes. I forgot to ask you this related to what you were saying. What would happen? Here's another thing people don't consider. Let's say you have a house, you become the accidental landlord. You got a homeowner's insurance policy, but now you're renting it out. The insurance company doesn't know. You didn't tell them. You're just renting it out because you're an accidental landlord, right? So what would happen if there was like a claim or something? The insurance company found out that there was a renter in there and you're no longer living there anymore.
They could deny it.
They could just cancel the claim.
Yeah.
They could just cancel claim it all.
Would my policy potentially change by simply letting them know
You would
that
need to write a new one.
it's just a different,
Mhm.
but essentially the coverage should remain the same? I mean, theoretically, right?
Dwelling coverage will remain the same.
Gotcha.
You know, then we're probably going to change the personal property. It's just a different policy form.
So, and that would, I would imagine, increase because they're like, look, you're not gonna, no, not so much.
no.
Interesting.
So that's another thing. It's like when you're an accidental landlord, everything's by accident.
Yeah, things you won't think about.
Yeah,
you know?
like
I
these
wouldn't think
things,
you'd
right?
need
You
to
wouldn't
change
think
that.
about changing your
Yeah.
insurance policy. So these are all things. So if you have rented a property and you're like, oops, I didn't let anybody know, give us a call. We'll get Ross to write you up the correct policy so you don't get hurt in case something happens to your property. That's another reason why to call Ross.
Well,
you
and
know?
if you're just tuning in recently, Jimothy, how much are you saving on your property insurance?
$600.
You're forgetting the
and your-
flood
and your
insurance
flood
and then another
and
150 for flood, right?
About 150 on flood. Yeah. So
And
a little
Jimmy's
over-
in a brand new house and went year over year where Ross found him a policy where he's going to save $750 total between the flood and his property. It sounds like we're slipping back into that time where you might be able to take a little control of your mortgage payment, quite possibly, real painlessly too. Simple process. You're just going to get basic information, your address, name, some contact information, get that over to Jim. We get it over to Ross at Brightway Insurance, and you find out. You're usually going to get a couple of quotes. It's really, really painless process.
What do you like, a declaration page to kind of
That'd be
help
perfect.
out that,
Declaration page at least cuts down the going back and forth because hey, send me your deck page. I'll do it apples to apples.
Right.
You know, otherwise I'm going to send you kind of two different quotes that going to be hard for you to decipher what yours covers versus what this might cover.
Right.
So the easiest way, and it cuts down on time, is send me the deck page. I'll let you know. If I can beat it, awesome. If I can't, oh well.
Yeah, real minimal requirement to find out. Go to floridatalkrealestate.com, get it started. Of course, on Facebook as well. You can reach out. Lots of ways to have contact to the team. But remember it. Know it, use it, love it, share it. floridatalkrealestate.com. You get a team of pros, experts in their field, and you get them all one click away. The one-stop real estate shop. When you're buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do, or you need an expert in the field, something specifically touching the world of real estate, we got a pros for you. Again, floridatalkrealestate.com. Like Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Always great to have you on a Saturday, and thanks for being a part of the team.
Thank you, man. Good to be here, and go Knowles.
like Jimmy D over here. It's tough to segue. Those words just
He's choking.
they're brutal. They're brutal. This is the home of Florida Gator football. Jimmy D is running top of Bruce and Keller Williams' team, the Florida Home Pros team. Keller Williams in innovation for 13 plus years now. Thanks for all that you do always, and we'll see you next Saturday, I guess.
Thank you, guys. Have a great weekend. Happy South Florida.
You have a great weekend as well. Jimothy, thank you for everything, my dude.
Hello, and goodbye.
Goodbye.